Some truths aren't found in books. They're found in people who have lived long enough to see life from every angle. This is the story of an elderly woman named Margaret James, who had seen the world, made mistakes, carried regrets, and found peace. One afternoon, she sat across from a young man who was restless, angry at life, and ready to give up. What she told him that day wasn't just advice. It was the 7 codes for a happy life, truths she had learned from traveling across continents, meeting strangers, and sitting once with a wise man named Beautiful Nubia in Osun State, Nigeria. And maybe, just maybe, her words are the reminder you need today. Ethan was 24. He had just lost his job. His girlfriend had walked away. His bank account mocked him with double digits. That afternoon, he slumped into the park bench where Margaret liked to feed the birds. His face was heavy with defeat. Margaret, 76, noticed him immediately. She had seen that look before, in the eyes of soldiers, in the faces of mothers who had buried too many dreams, in her own reflection many years ago. She turned to him and said, "Child, what's weighing you down?" He sighed. "Everything. I tried. I worked. I failed. I don't know how to be happy anymore." Margaret's lips curved into a small smile, her eyes soft but piercing. "Then maybe you need to learn the codes for a happy life." Ethan tilted his head. "Codes?" Margaret nodded. "Yes, I didn't learn them in school or from television. I learned them from years of wandering, watching, listening, and once, from sitting with a man named Beautiful Nubia in Osun State, Nigeria. A poet, a singer, a healer of souls." Her voice slowed, almost like a song. "I was your age when I first began traveling. I chased money, chased approval, chased the idea of making it. And in every city, I met people with houses but no peace, wealth but no joy, followers but no true friends. But in Osun, under the shade of tall trees, I sat with Beautiful Nubia. He told me, life is not in the things you gather. It's in the truths you live by. There are codes for happiness, and if you keep them, you will never be empty." Margaret leaned closer to Ethan. "The first code is truth. Do not lie to yourself. So many live in pain because they build lives on falsehoods, pretending to love what they hate, pretending to be what they are not. I once worked 20 years in a job I despised, just because it paid well. Every morning I lied to myself, this is fine, this is life. And every night I felt hollow. Truth sets you free. But first, it makes you face yourself. Happiness begins when you stop lying about what you want." Ethan lowered his eyes. He thought about the resume he had padded, the smiles he faked at interviews, the way he told friends he was fine when he wasn't. "The second code is honest work," Margaret said. "You don't need to be rich to be fulfilled, but you must work at something that is yours, something your hands and heart can respect. I've harvested rice in Asia, sewed clothes in Europe, sold bread in South America. None of it made me wealthy, but all of it kept me honest. The happiest people I met weren't CEOs. They were farmers who worked the land with integrity, bakers who knew every loaf would feed a neighbor, teachers who believed in children. When your work is honest, your sleep is deep." Margaret's voice grew stronger. "The third code is courage. Fear will whisper to you all your life. Don't try, don't speak, don't risk. But fear is a liar. When I was in Nigeria, Beautiful Nubia told me, courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision that fear will not lead you. I had to learn that. I stayed in a loveless relationship for years because I was afraid of being alone. Leaving took courage, but the day I walked away, I breathed for the first time in decades. Happiness isn't guaranteed, but if you don't have courage, misery is." Ethan swallowed hard. He thought of all the things he hadn't tried, the words he never said, the dreams he buried under fear. "The fourth code is perseverance," she said, her eyes gleaming. "I watched a man in Ghana build chairs out of scrap wood. People laughed at him, said no one would buy, but he kept building day after day. 10 years later, his furniture furnished hotels. Too many people quit too soon. They stop digging when they are inches from the well. Perseverance doesn't mean you don't get tired. It means you keep walking even when tired. I have failed more times than I've succeeded. But every success I ever had came after the day I wanted to quit. Margaret's voice softened again. The fifth code is patience. We live in a world of rush. We want instant wealth, instant fame, instant healing. But joy grows slow like a tree. I once planted a garden in Spain. The first year, nothing. The second, very little. By the third year, it blossomed, and the harvest was sweeter because of the wait. The young who cannot wait often destroy what could have blessed them. Patience is not weakness, it's wisdom. The sixth code is humility. In my travels, I met kings and beggars. The proud were never happy. The humble often were. Humility is knowing you are not better than anyone else, but also not worse. It is walking through life with your head high, but your heart bowed. I once dined with a wealthy family in Paris. They had chandeliers, gold plates, and no laughter. Later that night, I ate bread with a family in Nigeria sitting on mats. They had little, but they had joy. Humility opens the door for joy to sit at your table. Finally, Margaret's eyes misted as she spoke. The seventh code is contentment. This one took me the longest to learn. I spent decades chasing more money, more validation, more possessions. And every time I got more, it wasn't enough. In Osun, Beautiful Nubia sang a song under the moonlight. He sang, "Contentment is not the end of ambition. It is the soil where peace grows." I wrote those words in my journal and they saved me. Contentment doesn't mean you stop dreaming. It means you learn to love where you are while you walk toward where you're going. That is the secret to lasting happiness. Ethan sat silently, tears glistening in his eyes. For the first time, he felt the weight lifting. He had been chasing happiness like a prize at the end of a race. But Margaret had shown him happiness was not at the finish line. It was in the codes along the way. He whispered, "Do you think I can live by those codes?" Margaret smiled gently. "You don't have to be perfect, just faithful. Begin with one code, then the next. Life will meet you halfway." So, friend, maybe you've been searching for happiness. Maybe you've been running in circles, waiting for the world to hand you peace. But remember Margaret. Remember the woman who traveled the world, listened to the wise, and came back with the codes for a happy life. Truth, honest work, courage, perseverance, patience, humility, contentment. If you hold to them, happiness will not be a stranger to you. And if this story sparked something in you, hit like, drop a comment about which code you need most right now, and subscribe for more stories that remind you. Happiness isn't found tomorrow, it's built today.